Instagram just announced that they're bringing back the chronological algorithm. Here's what you need to know. People have been begging for this literally ever since the algorithm was introduced back in 2016 to go back to chronological. It's finally happening. I'm going to cover exactly what the changes are, when they are happening, and what I think this means for creators on the platform. Will your reach be going up? Will it be going down? How will this affect you? I also found a few comments from a few people who run a lot of Instagram pages, and I'll be sharing their opinions at the end as well, so stick around, this is going to be good. So this update was actually announced by Instagram CEO Adam Mosseri during a hearing in front of the US Senate on Wednesday, where he said that the company is working on a version of the feed which will show content chronologically rather than with the current algorithm. So this would mean the posts at the top of your feed are the most recent posts from people you're following, as opposed to seeing something from one day ago at the top, because it is what Instagram deemed to be the most interesting to you. Now, a bit of a sidetrack, but this hearing actually came about partially due to the recent Facebook whistleblower. This whistleblower revealed documents that showed that the app was actually toxic towards young people, especially teenagers, and was sharing a lot of misinformation and causing a lot of divide in people, partially due to the algorithm and the way that the algorithm pushes people down a rabbit hole, or pushes people to one opinion and amplifying a weak opinion about something into a strong opinion, which causes a lot of divide. So this change in the algorithm may not be due to the kindness of Instagram's hearts, but potentially instead due to legal consequences that could be coming. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt and continue. I just figured that's an interesting piece of info to add. Now, later that day after the hearing, Instagram's official Twitter account, Instagram Comms, tweeted this: "We want people to have meaningful control over their experience. We've been experimenting with favorites, a way for you to decide whose posts you want to see higher up, and we're working on another option to see posts from people you follow in chronological order." They then responded to that with, "We want to be clear that we're creating new options, providing people with more choices so they can decide what works best for them, not switching everyone back to a chronological feed. You can expect more on this early next year." So main things to take away from this is, no, they are not switching everyone to chronological. They are going to give you the option to choose between, hey, do you want to look at things in chronological order and see the most recent content, or do you want to look at things with the algorithm where you see content that Instagram think you'll find more interesting. Another cool thing they seem to be adding is favorites. So you might be able to use a chronological feed and then select 5 or 10 favorites, and these people's content is always at the top. So that way you see content in order of most recent. However, you don't miss content from your best friends and your family and your favorite couple of creators. They're always pushed to the top. So it's almost like a hybrid. And then lastly, it's coming early next year. So I don't know whether that means they're going to have a detailed announcement coming in January or February, or whether that means that they will actually be rolling it out then. Interesting to see. Now, the majority of people seem to hate the current Instagram algorithm, and they look back with nostalgia to the times before it. So it will be interesting to see that if in 2022 people prefer Instagram with a chronological feed or with the algorithm feed. Because personally, I think when people switch back to chronological, they may actually realize that they were just looking back at that with nostalgia, and algorithm style feed may be much better. It'll be hard to say from now, but interesting to see when it happens. Because I do remember Instagram talking about the algorithm in a blog post that they put out, and they said that when the algorithm was introduced 5 years ago, that people were missing 50% of the posts from their closest friends because they were just pushed so far down the list, which is not ideal, and part of the reason that they said that they brought in the algorithm, even though people say that they don't enjoy it. Because, for example, let's say you follow 1,000 people on Instagram, which may be a lot, but a lot of people do. And we'll say 900 of these are normal people or influencers, and they post once a week on average. And let's say you post 100 theme pages, whether it be meme pages, sports pages, news pages, theme pages like mine, Millionaire Dream, etc. And we'll make the assumption that these post 5 times per day, which for this style of content is pretty normal. You'll see some meme pages post much more, same with news pages, etc. That means there's 600 pieces of content being posted per day by the people that you follow. With an algorithm in place, you can see the most important content at the top. You can see the posts from your best friends at the top. You can see the most engaging pieces of content from those theme pages / meme pages pages / news outlets, and you see that most important stuff all at the top. Whereas without an algorithm, if we go back to Chronological, you may miss a lot of that content, because what if your best friend posted just as you were falling asleep, or just as when you went off the platform? Then you check your phone the next day and it is 578 posts deep down the bottom of your feed. You're probably not going to see that, and then you're going to miss their content. And instead of seeing the best content from the theme pages that you follow, you'll be seeing all of the content, or the most recent content, which may not necessarily be as enjoyable. But that's just speculation. It will be interesting to see whether people prefer it, or whether they were just looking back at it with, you know, a better view than it actually was. Now, this change could go either way for creators, and it will depend massively on how many people adopt this new feature. Because like I say, maybe everyone will go with this, and maybe everyone will love it, and then everyone's looking at it with a chronological view. Maybe heaps of people will try it, many people will then go back to the algorithm, and it'll be interesting to see. And that'll massively influence whether or not anything changes. Now, personally, I think if everyone adopts a chronological algorithm, it'll massively flatten the variability in engagement. At the moment, for example, on some of my posts on millionaire.dream, we'll only get 3,000 or 4,000 likes, which is a 0.5% engagement rate. However, some of our content has reached 300,000 likes. We've had reels that have reached 900,000 likes. I think we got one reel that's about to hit 1 million likes. And so some of our content is 3,000 likes, some of it is 1 million, and that is a massive variance. And that is partly because if a content is not very engaging, then it gets pushed down the algorithm. However, if a content is very engaging, it gets pushed right up to the top, pushed out to new people, and just goes crazy viral. However, if it's chronological, I think that'll change, because you're not seeing content based on its performance, you're seeing it based on when it was posted, and therefore your worst content will get more engagement because it's going to still be pushed normally, and your great content will get more engagement than average, but it'll drop down from where it could have been, which I guess is good if you're running ads on your account. It's great for business owners because they can pay and they can get a predictable amount of reach, but it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Now, to finish up this video, I saw a guy that I follow called Nick retweet someone asking about this, and Nick runs a lot of different Instagram accounts and seems to know what he's talking about. Now, the tweet was by a guy called Culty Bra on Twitter. Will this bring organic IG back to heyday? Please respond. And it was an image from Hypebeast. I'll put it up on the screen, which said Instagram to return to chronological feed in 2022. I will say straight off the bat, Hypebeast have got this wrong. They're not returning to the feed. They're giving you an option. So yeah, like we sort of discussed earlier, they're not forcing everyone to do this. It's just an option. And Nick said, I'd say 50-50 chance. We had a glitch this past summer on 2 of our pages where it seemed like they were showing chronological on follower feeds. Can't 100% confirm this, but he did say the growth and engagement on these pages for 3 to 4 days during this glitch was 5 times normal before the glitch stopped. So on his accounts, theme pages, clients, etc., there was a massive spike in engagement, growth, etc., which would say that it would be a good thing. Interesting to see whether that comes to fruition. I would love to know in the comments what you think of this. Do you think it'll be a good thing? Will you be switching over? Give me your opinions down below. I want to hear it. One thing that's for sure is we're going to have to stop blaming the algorithm for our growth, as now it seems like they're putting it all in our hands. That's it from me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will see you all next time.